Alright guys, let me bore you with some numbers here. I hunted this year 39 out of the possible 92 days. Now that's September 15th to December 15th. And that encompasses bow, muzzleloader, and real deer season. You know, rifle. I hunted 21 of the 26 days of the rifle season. I also hunted 18 days of the bow season. That worked out to 318 odd hours in all. In that time, I saw 13 rack bucks. Of those 13, I passed 10, and I pursued 3. I tracked 3 of them and had opportunities and just failed to follow through and get it done. That's just bottom line. And I saw countless does and fawns. But when I say countless does and fawns, it's because I don't count them. Because if I'm hunting the same pieces of property a couple of days a week, you know, I could be seeing the same 4 or 5 does each day. So I don't go, I've seen 38 does, because if I say that, they're probably the same 4 or 5 that I've seen all week. So I don't count those. So the question is was it a failed season? I don't feel it was. Even though we call it anatomy of a failed season because I didn't tailgate a buck. But I don't feel that it was a failed season. Fruitless, yes. Failed, no. And it's something that when you're pursuing mature whitetail bucks, you got to play the long game. And sometimes, if you want to shoot mature bucks, I find that I'm going to have, every once in a while, have a season where I don't shoot one. I set my bar pretty high for myself, and my integrity will not allow me to drop that bar just to fill a tag. If you do, that's your business. Amen to you. You got deer meat in the freezer. I can't do that. It's not part of my psyche. It's not part of my makeup, is to go from, you know, my bar being set here to down here. I just can't do it. So you're going to occasionally see me have years like this where I just don't shoot anything. But it's all, like I said, it's your tag. It's your choice. You guys do what you want to do. If you want to follow in my footsteps, God bless you. I think you're insane if you do. But that's just the way it is for me. So let's get back to it. Good morning, guys, and welcome to the Quest for 200 2023. Today is November 8th, opening day of the New Hampshire rifle season. Yep, it's cold and blustery. Wind's blowing pretty good. Wind chill's somewhere in the 20s, and it's been spitting snow off and on the way here. So just the kind of days I like for still hunting. Wind. Yesterday it rained quite a bit, so the ground is soft, and it's going to make it fairly quiet. Wind's pretty predictable out of the northwest, so at least I can make a plan with the wind, even though it is gusting here and there. So we're going to head up the mountain here where we hunt McQueen. Hopefully we connect with that deer. It's been a 3-year quest with that one. And hopefully he's still hanging around this area and he hasn't gone on some sojourn someplace looking for girls. So we'll get up in here and see. The rut hasn't really kicked in very hard yet. It's still winding up, but the bucks are moving and they're all over the place. It is 5:30 right now, so I'm going to get my gear on and try not to overdress because we get a long walk up this mountain. It's just cold, so I may pack some stuff on my little fanny pack here and get headed. Alright, see you in a bit. Alright guys, we finally made it up to the mountain. It's about 6:30. You can see behind me on this road, the deer cross right here. They're coming out of the cuts that are behind me, and they head over to the north face to bed. So I got a ridge right here. We're going to walk down that ridge. Now on this side of the mountain, the wind's swirling and going all over the place. What it's doing is it's coming out of the northwest. It's coming up over the top of the hill right here. And it's getting into this low pressure area and it's swirling all over the place. So we're going to get up here and head over to the north face where the wind's much more steady in my favor. So it's taken a while to get up here, but we're about 2.5 miles back off from a dead end dirt road back here, so I don't think we'll run into too many people this high up. I just had a doe go by at about 45-50 yards. Big doe. She walked up here and she bedded down. I waited to see if anything was behind her. Nothing was. She bedded down there and laid down. And I tried to sneak down and around, but she saw movement. And she blew and walked off that way. So we're going to continue our trek down the hill here. I got the wind in my face now, so as you can see, we're in some hemlock. That wind is cold, so anyways, here we go. Okay, I just got done eating lunch. It's about 12:45. We still hunted that ridge like we thought we would, and that's the one where his main bedding is. And he hasn't used it for 2 or 3 days, so I don't know where he is. So now the plan is there's a clear cut right here that's fairly thick, and then up along the edge is all softwood where they bed. There's a ridge right here, so we're going to go up this ridge, drop down, and there's an old logging road that cuts out to it, and then we'll cut back into the wind. We're going to work up that, and then we're going to go back up and cross the road that we came in on, and probably still hunt that upper ridge, because that's where those does were going that I saw this morning. They're heading back that way, so there's been a lot of sign back in there anyways. Just a different group of deer, because I was kind of in here looking for McQueen. He may be off on sabbatical right now looking for some girls, so he may be over there. So we're going to get moving. Daylight's burning. Alright, because of the wind, I've had to change plans. I'm not going to go up and cross the road and hunt that piece. So there's a big cut right here that I haven't really gotten in and hunted in years since it's grown up some. So we're working up through here, and there are a ton of beds in here. And I mean a ton of beds. I just found this over here, and this is a huge indicator to something to me. An old rub right there. And at first I thought that was a scrape, but that's a bed. That is a big bed right there. I think we might have found another bed of his. There's hair in it. Got hair right there. I think he may be in this cut due to the weather and stuff, the way the wind's blowing, and it's just miserable. It's really thick, and if he's got a doe with him, this is where he'd take her. Right into this stuff. Last year we tracked him into here, and we jumped a fawn that was by itself, and the tracks went all through, and we went in and out and everywhere, and never did catch them, but they were in this cut, so. I got a bull moose about 60 yards and through this thick stuff. Can't really see him, but he's down in there. I'm trying to film him, but try to get a little closer. Now he's moving away. A small one, little fork. This stuff is thick. Maybe another one right there. Yeah, I think there's another bull right there. There's two of them. That one's a little bit closer. Still is so thick I can't even hardly see him. It's so thick in here I could run right into one and not even know he was there. Yeah. That deer could be right here. I can't shoot in here. I mean, this is so thick. I have to work my way off to this other side. There's like little moose roads in here that they're using, but it's just unbelievably thick. Seems like the deer are bedded and utilizing a little bit closer to the edge where all that where the balsam is. We're gonna head that way. McQueen always leaves me at least one on a yellow birch. It's the only rub I found all day. Right there. It's one of his. Heading into the hub. We're heading back down to the hill right now. Still out of the northwest, blowing across here. It's getting late in the day. It's about 3 o'clock now. So, just finish out our day banging around in here, I guess. Rough day, but somebody's got to do it. Might as well be me. Good morning and welcome to the Quest for 200. Day number 2. Well, as you probably had noticed, we are not in the truck today. We are in the wife's SUV. It's because the truck four-wheel drive decided to crap the bed, and it's snowing out. So we're not going to take the old high dollar two-wheel drive this morning. We're going to take the high dollar four-wheel drive. We're going to go to one and two spots. I haven't decided yet, but we'll know as I get on the road. I'll just get that feeling and go to that spot. We're either going to go up on the mountain after McQueen, or we're going to go to my other piece of property and go after Spectre. I haven't decided yet. I'll let you know when we get in the woods. So, we've got about 2.5 inches of snow, 3. It started to rain. It's going to start getting crappy. I want to get out there and see if I can get on a track real quick. I overslept. We've been doing a ton of tracks recovering people's deer. So, we haven't been getting much sleep. Yesterday I was hunting opening day on about 2.5 hours of sleep, and last night I think I got 5.5 hours of sleep. So I feel like I had a full night's sleep now. As you can probably tell, I don't look awake. I can tell by looking in the camera. Anyways, we're going to get on the road here. So hold on, we'll get back to you when I get in the woods. Alright, we're finally in the woods. We're about 2/3 of the way up. So this is where I start searching for tracks. So this is a word to the wise, okay? This area here does not have a lot of deer. So if you're hunting a big wood spot with, not many deer, you need to be ready to walk because you're going to be doing a lot of it. So I don't know when I'm going to hit my first track, and even if I hit the first track, it may not be big enough. It may be a doe. So we got to get walking. So one of the things that you should do is in your pre-season scouting is find the areas that the deer are using the most. And then when you get in on a day like this, you go to those spots first and try to pick up a track instead of just aimlessly wandering looking for one. And another thing, don't go to where you want the track to be. You have to go to where the track is. Now, a lot of people will do this when they're hunting is they don't want to go over that ridge right there. They'd rather go over this one because it's easier, but the deer are on the harder ridge, so they go over the easier ridge just for their own personal comfort, and then they miss out. So you need to go where the sign is and where the deer are. regardless of how you feel about it. They're going to go where they go, and you've got to follow. So let's get looking for the track, and when I find one, I'll show it to you. Well, I just jumped a doe and a fawn. Just moving along slowly here. And you can see there's a tote road there. You see that, where the tall growth is? It's a logging road. The sun's hitting it, so all the growth is coming up. Everything else out here is shaded because of the trees. Okay. Anyways, I jumped them, and you can see she's heading off that way. Pretty small fawn. Really small fawn. I got some stuff in the camera we got to take care of here. Alright, so the fawn headed this way. The doe headed up that road and then cut in. We're going to go directly up. I was going to cut across. Alright, it's about 9:50 right now. And we have not found a track all day, other than those two little does. We've gone quite a ways. I haven't hit one, so I've got one more spot down here. It's a little hub area. I'm going to run through that and see if there's a track there. If there's nothing, I'm going to swing all the way back around and go out onto the south face of this hill, or this mountain, and go and see if we can pick up a track. Now, usually this buck I call McQueen is on this side, but it's apparent that either this snowstorm has got him bedded someplace else, or he's feeling the rut and he's out moving around, which I'm going to agree with the latter. The snow shouldn't have bothered him any, because the does are still here. So I got to get I'm having a little bit of a negative attitude today, because it's kind of ironic actually, because you wait all year to track deer and get tracking snow, and then the day that you get it, you can't find a track, right? So I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like. Hopefully this stuff stays about the same consistency for tomorrow. We'll probably go to a different spot tomorrow, because basically you have a spot like this you get into during this time of year, and you hunt it 1 or 2 days, and if you're not seeing the buck sign, you leave and you come back in a while. That, or you can always go on historic data, and my historic data says the second and third week of November, generally this area is a lot hotter than the first, but I always come in here the first day or two and hunt it. So today will be the last day for a while, and we'll go hit another one of my other spots. So anyways, let's get down in this hub and try to pick up McQueen's track so I could shoot this damn thing. Alright, we've circled this whole clear cut right here. This is the area he spends 90% of the time, and if he was still here, I would have found a track. But every year he tends to go off for about a week, disappear, and then show back up. So this must be his week this year to disappear, because he's nowhere to be found. And yesterday I kind of got the feeling that the sign I was finding was old, but it was harder to tell because all dry leaves. And of course, I haven't brought cards to check cameras or anything like that. I tend to find that worrying about checking cameras while you're hunting is just stupid, because you're worried about getting from one camera to the other instead of hunting, even though you're hunting between the two. Sometimes you need to just forget about everything and just go where the sign is telling you to go, and not worry about getting from point A to point B. I don't tend to check cameras during the hunting season. I know that could hurt me in a lot of ways, but it's kind of like Christmas too, at the end of the season, and you see yourself on a camera because you walk by it, and 10 minutes after, and a big buck walks behind you, That just adds to the whole mystery and fun of it. I think one of the problems I have with hunting these days is with the technology and the furthering knowledge, we're taking a lot of the mystery and myths out of hunting, which can be good in one respect, but on the other respect, it's kind of part of the thing that draws us to it, is that whole mystery and myth, and you know, the tall tales of giant bucks and that stuff. You know, I think that needs to stay in hunting, because I think that's what's going to keep us doing it. So yeah, technology's good for a lot of reasons, but I think in a lot of reasons it hurts a lot of people too. I think everybody out there might want to think about that. So anyways, now that I've gone off on a tangent, the new plan is we're going to walk up this trail right here, and we're going to go up a little bit. There's a logging road that cuts down, and then there's massive cuts that go back down towards the car. So I hate saying that I got a car right now. So we're going to do that. We're going to head that way and head down and see what we can see over there. See if we can pick up a track. So here we go. Well, we finally got down here. We're up here by these ledges. You can see right over here. You'll see there's an outcropping over there. I had a small deer come up, walk up that bank, and bed up on top of that outcropping. And then right here, I got a bobcat who's cruising along, and then he comes up here, and the deer spooks and bounds down the hill about 100 miles an hour just recently. I mean, this is fresh. This isn't within the last hour. Headed down the hill. The deer doesn't look super big. It looks like it's probably a young buck. But down he went. And I'm going to walk over here to see if the bobcat gave chase or not. I think he did. So, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. But we found a deer track coming up. And it looks like at the time he came up, it was just starting to snow. And I could smell deer really strong over here. So I knew he had been bedding someplace. I thought he went up over the top, but he was just over there on that outcropping that's behind me. And it's really strong, so he was here just probably less than a half hour ago. So at least we're starting to see some sign. That's good. Gives me hope. So we're going to get back to it.